Good morning. Welcome back to Bite-Sized Book Reviews. I'm Mandy. I got my coffee. I got my books. Let's talk all things historical fiction. All right. So historical fiction is a genre for me that a couple years ago I might have been like, I'm more of a thriller, romance, contemporary fiction, until I cracked open my first historical fiction book, and I've never looked back since. It has quickly become one of my absolute favorite genres. And if you are a beginner or you're looking to dabble in historical fiction, if you just love historical fiction and want to see some recommendations, this video is for you. Okay, I wanted to start by spotlighting one of my favorite historical fiction authors, Patti C Henry. I started reading one of her books and quickly just can't stop reading them all. The first one I read was Surviving Savannah. This one I picked up from a local bookshop here. My daughter's actually named Savannah, and it was in the newborn stage where I was up all night, and the title just was like screaming at me. So I picked it up, and I am just so grateful that I did. This has quickly become one of my favorite books. I will never not recommend this book to anybody looking for an historical fiction book. I still think about it. It captivated me from the beginning to the end. I laughed, I cried, I was like feverishly turning pages to find out what was going to happen at the end. This book follows a dual timeline. So in the past, in 1838, when the Pulaski sank, which is also known as the Titanic of the South, the story behind that, who was on the ship, what their dynamics were like, I'm not even going to get into it because that was my favorite. The past was actually my favorite part of the story. The present follows Emily. She's a history professor, and she was asked to curate a museum exhibit of the Pulaski. So one chapter goes back to what's actually happening on the boat. The other chapters is current events following Everly and her story, and the past and the present obviously collide at the end. And I still ask myself, like, what would I do if I was on this ship? Like, would I have survived? Would I have made it? It's a beautiful story, and I highly, highly, highly recommend. Okay, the next book from Patti C Henry that I read was Once Upon a Wardrobe. I don't know if you can see this one, it's a little bright. This book was just pure magic. I did not anticipate going from Surviving Savannah to Once Upon a Wardrobe. They have very different vibes. Surviving Savannah is more historical based, fact based. I learned so much. I was like Googling like crazy after reading this book. This book was just, like I said, pure magic. It was heartfelt. I cried so much. The story follows a little boy who is sick, and all he wants to do is read stories. He wants to know where the stories came from. He wants to know how to write these stories. He wants to be in these stories, and his sister just wants to help. So she gives him the book, The Chronicles of Narnia, and he becomes obsessed. He wants to know, is Narnia real? Where did Narnia come from? And his sister wants to do anything that she can to give him these answers. Luckily for her, C.S. Lewis, the author, teaches at her university. So she tracks him down, and she says, I have questions for you, and he answers them. And it's just a beautiful story from beginning to end, following this family, following the love of siblings, magic, imagination. It has it all. So please pick this one up. The next book by Patti C Henry is The Secret Book of Flora Lee. I actually just finished this one last week, and it is incredible. Again, with the magic, again, with the imagination and the fairy tales. This book follows Hazel and Flora. Back in London, 1939, World War II, the Germans were going to bomb their city. It was coming. So the city of London evacuated all children to go to outside towns that were safer, that were less at risk of being bombed, and to stay with these families until it was safe to come back. I, as a mother, could not even imagine sending my child off, but, you know, doing what you have to do to keep them safe, right? So Hazel and Flora, they pack up their bags with their gas masks, and they get on the train, and they are so fortunate to be staying with this wonderful family, Birdie and her son, and it's magical there. The land is beautiful. They come up with stories, especially one story, Whisperwood. Flora is only 6 and Hazel is 14, and she will do anything to protect Flora and keep her from being scared. So she makes up this magical land of Whisperwood, and Flora loves it. And they go transport to this land to get away from the fact that they're not with their mom, that, you know, their mom is in danger, that a war is coming. And it was just kind of their way to protect themselves from all the bad. Until one day, 6-year-old Flora disappears. Hazel turned her back for 1 second and she's gone. And they can't find her, and they look everywhere, and it is devastating. And that would hit my heart. 20 years later, Hazel's working at a rare bookshop, and she opens up a package, and it is a book titled Whisperwood. And she knows that only, I got chills already. I'm telling you, this book just gave me the chills. She knows that her and her sister are the only ones that know about Whisperwood. So then she sets on an adventure to find out what happened to Flora Lee. Pick it up. I'm serious. This one got me. The last book I read by Patti C Henry was The Story She Left Behind. That was her new release, and I was fortunate enough to get an art copy of that. So I read it on my Kindle, thanking that galley. And that one, it just didn't disappoint. I had such high expectations for that book because I loved these 3 so much that it did not disappoint. That one is another kind of mystery, magical story, kind of like Flora Lee, where a daughter is an illustrator for a children's book, and her mother disappeared when she was younger, and she never knew what happened to her mother. But her mother had this secret language that she wrote her next book to. So once she got a call from somebody across the country saying that they found their mother's secret dictionary for her secret language, that was when the adventure began. And so going through that story of finding out where her mother is, what happened to her mother, does she have the book with all the new language in it? Can she translate it and get the second book out? That was a must read, must read. And I must get that in a paperback, so I have all 4 to add to my collection. Again, Patti C Henry can do no wrong in my eyes. So if you are a beginner and you're looking for an historical fiction book to pick up, try one of these. The next author is the obvious Kristin Hannah. Oh my gosh. I have read a couple of her books, and a couple of them were actually not historical fiction, but you know, guys, you know I'm going to be pulling this book out, The Nightingale. I know I keep saying this. I love books so much. This will forever be imprinted in my soul. I gave this one 5 big, beautiful stars. World War II, sisterhood. Y'all know how much I love my sister, so anything with sisterhood just always is #1 for me. 2 different sisters going through 2 different journeys, the same war, the path that they went on, the experiences they went through. I don't want to tell you too much because I'm begging you to pick this up. If you've never read a historical fiction book in your life and you pick this up, it will change you. Do not be intimidated by how long it is, because honestly, I just flew through it. I couldn't even, I didn't want it to end. I wanted there to be more of this. So I highly, highly, highly recommend picking this one up. This one is actually on my TBR, but it's next. It's next in my historical fiction genre list. All right, I have 2 more recommendations for you. 1, Beneath the Scarlet Sky. This book broke me. Oh my gosh, it follows the story of Pinot Leia and his incredible, incredible journey through World War II. I notice I read a lot of World War II books now that I'm talking out loud about this. But the things that man has been through, I swear I want to fly to Italy and I want to hug him and I want to be his friend and I want to hear the story again. It is incredible that this is based on a true story. He has been through 5 lifetimes compared to what I have been through in my lifetime. going through the war, becoming a driver for the Germans, helping people evacuate, finding love, losing love, family. I'm gonna tear up just thinking about it. I do have a physical copy, but I let my mother-in-law borrow it, and she's gonna love it. You're gonna love it. And yeah, pick that one up. I would never stop recommending Beneath the Scarlet Sky. And plus, look how gorgeous this cover is. I can't get over it. And the last one, again, broke me. I find myself like feverishly Googling after I read a historical fiction novel, because I'm like, this can't be real. This is real. This is based on true events. Like, of course, the story isn't real, but the historical aspect of it, or the situations behind it, may be real. No, this one like was more real than I wanted it to be. Before You Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. This story is again about family, siblings, love, going through something I could never even imagine, and coming out on the other side of it. This story follows a beautiful family who lived on the water, and their mother had to go to the hospital to give birth to another one of their siblings, and these random strangers come up to their boat, tell them that they're going to go take them to their mom and dad, and they do not in fact take them to their mom and dad. They go to the Tennessee Children's Society and join a bunch of these other children, and now all of a sudden become orphans. Like, how do you steal an entire family of children and make them orphans when they have parents? And the things that they went through at this orphanage or children's home, again, chills. Incredible what these people went through. And to know that that actually happened, and that's real, and that Tennessee Children's Home actually existed, literally guts me. And what these children did to stay together and to survive and to come out on the other side is also incredible. Never stop recommending this book. 5 stars. Again, as you can see, I'm very passionate about this genre. I do think that if you haven't picked up a historical fiction book, you need to. I think that if you don't know where to begin, these are a bunch of super good recommendations that are easy to read, will literally break you in the best way. You're going to learn so much. You're going to be Googling, you're going to be rereading, and you're going to hopefully be recommending these to other people as well. If you read historical fiction, I want to know, what is your favorite book? I know there's a ton that I missed. Comment, like, let me know. I want to add them to my TBR. I want to read all of them. And subscribe. My sister and I have been putting out videos weekly, and we love having you here. We love talking all things books. And we'll see you next week.